Dear friends, I, Pradeep Vashvi, once again welcome you to another session of economathematics in which the model for managerial economics has also been included. Software is same, but this software incorporates various aspects of tools which can be used for monitoring 5M and economathematics is also integrated with and there are other softwares also which I talked about that a touch of ethical or what we call it's values for upholding morality, ethics in business transactions is also equally important. We start our discussion with material. It's a very crucial decision to establish a industry, start a industry, or shift the pattern of production, or is dependent on availability of raw material which can be converted with the help of machine and can be marketed to earn profit. So the first condition always remains that the availability of raw material should be at the cheapest possible rates. Unless raw material is cheap, the initial competitive edge of producer cannot be ensured. Now, what kind of other considerations also affect the availability of raw material? It depends how much resources, natural resources are available within the economy and outside the economy. For example, we can say that the petroleum crude is not unlimited. We know that stocks are declining and after couple of decades the availability will be scarce or negligible. So the scenario is going to change for those industries which are right now dependent on the availability of petroleum crude. The same crude is refined and there is a huge industry which is engaged in refining the crude oil. Refined crude oil is right now giving energy to most of the transportation industry and the transport industry is dependent on combustion engines in which petrol and diesel is burned to give motion, what we call is a engine. So a very big industry of automobiles is dependent on refined crude as petrol and diesel. Now here comes the question of many other geopolitical economic considerations also, because if the country is dependent on import of petroleum products, it is always vulnerable to lot of pressures to influence the political as well as economic structure of that country. So every country wants to strive an independent economy to resist the pressure at the international level. Similarly, right now there is a big hue and cry for food security. It's even more important than the dependence on crude petroleum because we can do away with number of things, but we cannot stop eating. Every day we have to eat to keep ourselves alive. Similarly, in some countries, there's a scarcity of water. We know that in Arab Peninsula, there is a very scarce rainfall. So there is always a problem of not only drinking water, but to keep the plantations alive, they need water. Different technologies have emerged to refine sea oil which contains lot of salt to refine it and make it drinkable, potable. Similarly, right now there is a very drive to use green energy to not only give automobile industry a new kind of engine, but there are hosts of other applications also in which hydrogen and its byproducts are capable of replacing fossil fuel. Similarly, when we burn coal, it pollutes the atmosphere. The greenhouse effect is causing the global warming, and this phenomena is increasing. So these are various constraints which decide the choice of raw material. What are those factors which affect this? We will analyze when we talk about the graph of management control. That raw material, how it can be sourced, how future strategies can be formulated, and so on so forth. There is also a very important emerging trend that sustainable economic development which can keep on progressing without affecting the climate control. We don't produce greenhouse effect and also can be made available at a much cheaper rate. So this is another very important consideration for arranging and planning, because there is only one entrepreneurship which human beings have been doing since time immemorial, and that is agriculture. So long we have water and enough arable land which can be irrigated, there can always be good agriculture. This can be sustained, and it has lot of potential to add value to it, agriculture produce, and then can be marketed directly without much involvement of machine in between. So that is the story of raw material. Similarly, now we come to another end, that is machine. Machine nowadays can be as sophisticated as robotics or all those kind of equipments related to it, but one must always consider that it is replacing what? It is replacing labor, the human labor, which is right now being getting remuneration from engaging in the process of production through machines. Now, once again, there is a question that how much cost of machine we should pay now, or as compared to it, how much labor of which skill level is required, because technology is changing very fast. Now there is a availability of self-driven cars. So in future one can say the labor required as drivers will not be required. Similarly, we have seen robots flying in the sky. Robots are not equipped with, they don't require pilot, but they are programmed such a way. Right now, they are being mostly used for military purposes. But suppose if the same artificial intelligence is put in the cockpit of a plane, passenger plane, then all those pilots will be replaced by self-driven or self-flying passenger aircraft as well. Similarly, in Japan, we have seen there are robots servicing customers in restaurants. So, within the aircraft, right now we have air hostages. But suppose if robots are servicing passengers, then all those air hostages will be replaced by these robots. Now, once again, the choice is that should we do it? Because we have seen AI is creating huge impact on prospects of managerial and other sections of executives, because AI will do all the work assigned to them at a faster rate, at a cheaper rate. So a big change is going to occur in future in terms of adoption of machines for different sectors. Now there are certain good aspects also, because if most of the labor force is not involved there, what they will do at all? Somehow or other, they will be given some kind of a concession or grant, or because they have to sustain themselves. So most of them would like to indulge in tourism and other service industry which cater to the need of tourism because it is sustainable. It doesn't cause any pollution. The infrastructure requirement is rather low, and it creates an economy of itself. Now we come to the third stage of marketing. Marketing also has similar considerations, that whether it's a market related to right now rural market or urban market, international market or domestic market, or what we call it, that market for those people who can be truly entrepreneur and they have a different market segment. Similarly, the money we have seen recently, that artificial currencies were created as a cryptocurrency. Now, because of many considerations, this kind of currencies are not recognized. At least within India, any transaction done in cryptocurrency is not valid. So these kind of changes will keep on happening and affect the fourth M, that is money. Different uses of money, and we have seen the digital currency, that is in terms of UPI, what we generally refer to as digital transactions. India is the highest digital making payment economy, and it has a very distinct advantage for the economy because the rotation of the capital is instant, not only for a street vendor but for major producers also. If they get the payment by UPI, they don't have to wait for checks to be issued in their favor and then wait for the clearance of the check and then do the financial transactions through their bank accounts. Now almost all banks have correlated their currency to Paytm like UPI apps. Direct transaction, whatever is made by the customer, immediately gets transferred to their accounts, respective accounts. So these keep on changing. Similarly, the banks release the funds at the tip of your mobile phone. They get all the information about your Aadhaar and PAN, everything. And after verification of this and verifying by OTP that it is you who is approaching them, they do all digital processing on mobile phone itself. And after some time, you will find that they have sanctioned loan to you. The bank account which you specified in your previous information has received that money from the institution which sanctioned you loan, and within few hours you can start using the loan sanctioned to you for a specific purpose. So all these changes will cause the pattern of money to a large extent. Now we come to another part of the same story, and that is the conversion rate, because right now we are living in village economy. It means the world is one, and there are various citizens of various origin who are interdependent by a unified world economy. Now, world economy is still divided in different nations, and these nations have their respective currencies, and each country strives to keep the rate of its currency at a high level so it can compete in the international market. There are many countries which want to create monopoly over the weaker currency. They don't let weaker currencies to come up and offer any competition to them. So at the international, there is a different kind of politics, and now the wars are not fought on fronts. War fronts are quite silent, but the wars in terms of interest of nation is getting importance. Like when it comes to the foreign policy of India, that is Bharat, we always cry for a self-reliant policy. It means that we have enough consumers, we have enough producers, there is enough capital, and we don't need to succumb to any international pressure of any kind. It has a positive effect also, and that is the reason the major growing economies of the world, India, Bharat is at the top. Now, we feel satisfied that we have done our bit, but there are vested interest, and they don't want any nation like India to challenge the supremacy, because as the India grows, the challenges for them will increase. The domination of dollar will be challenged, or European currencies will be challenged, because right now their price quite high. Compared to Indian rupees, dollar is still, for each dollar we have to pay almost 82 rupees, and almost similar amount for one British pound. But we have seen the fate of renminbi or Chinese currency. They created lot of euphoria around their economy. I used to wonder that different ideologies of communism at the one end, and capitalist economy of European nations or America on the other hand, how they are collaborating and how long they will keep on collaborating. Now major rifts are coming in, because as China grew stronger and economically, he started challenging the military might and the might of dollar and other European currencies to replace it by its own financial system all over the world. He didn't succeed, and that's a very long story. But what I mean to say that money value keeps on changing almost every day. There is a big flight of money, or say capital, from different money centers, or what we call it, they invest in those economies which have promising prospects, because they are better judged, and we know that capital has no nationality of its own. Capital recognizes only profit so that capital can grow. But every profit results in loss to someone. Without incurring loss to someone, you can't earn profit. There's a limit how much profit you can earn, how much reward or other you can ensure for your investment, how long. Someday or other, those who are being exploited today will cause imbalance in the distribution of income and wealth structure, and in that case, there will come a huge change in the values of money which we are seeing today. Similarly, there are changes, demographic pattern. You have prosperity, but right now you are not producing or giving birth to new babies, and your population is getting older, and the new generation is not there to replace the poverty. So how long this trend will continue for a particular economy? So we have what we can say that India has an advantage because till almost 22, we will have enough manpower or consumers to sustain the economic development. But these are various considerations. Now we come to the fifth head, that is at the center. Man, we talked about everything from how AI is replacing, how robots are replacing human labor. Fifth M, management, not the scope of management, as I discussed in previous session. The stakeholders can be shareholders, dimensions, promoters, financial institutions, the government under which they are operating. There can be various men, you can term them as stakeholders. But now the time has come when the scope of men will include all those consumers who are consuming the product within the economy of a particular sector of the economy or a particular industry on which they are dependent on it. Unless the people, the citizens at the center, they don't get enough purchasing power or say income, how the economy will grow. The biggest problem in developing countries also is this, that they may have technology, they may have resources, but they don't have consumers. So even if they try to increase their production, they have natural resources as well, but they cannot be consumed by the local consumers. They will have to either export it or supply it to a supply chain. Dependence on supply chain is once again be illustrated that it can be a good decision, make or buy decision can be good also, and it can be harmful also. So all these prospects are now affecting the five M's of the society. We will have to devote one session each for material, for machine, for market, and for money and the man involved, and explore different combinations to ensure a prosperous business community, trading community, and the GDP growth as well, and then general happiness and satisfaction, and also harmony, keeping the harmony with the natural environment without damaging how things can be made possible. The prospects, different prospects, there are adverse fallouts also, and there are reservations also that how to tackle all those problems. We will keep on discussing all those scenarios differently in different perspective, because as we said, it's a village economy, so we have to consider the prospects for American economy also, for other major economies also, and compare it that what future awaits for us, where whether there will be opportunities, lost opportunities, or are we well prepared to accept those kind of challenges future is going to present to us. So till next session, I take your leave. I wish you all the success, all good wishes for your health and general prosperity. Please, if you have any suggestions, keep us informed so that we can do modification in the content of these sessions, which right now I am doing it for just myself, but I always welcome to have a team of experts who can also put forward their divergent views, if any. Thanks for watching.